Hi guys, I'm Kelly Yang. I'm the author of Front Desk, and I'm here to answer more of your questions for Global Read Aloud. Okay, you guys ready? All right, here we go. First question is, what did you do at the front desk when no customers were checking in? I watched a lot of TV and I read a lot of books. Okay, so the embarrassing truth of my childhood was I actually watched way too much TV, but I also read a ton of books. I would get books from the school library, so shout out to all the school librarians out there. And also I got a lot of books from my local Anaheim library, and I was very, very, very good friends, became very good friends with the librarian at the Anaheim Public Library and just grew up there. So I definitely was a kid who checked out many, many books and read them. Next question. What was your favorite part of the book? Okay, great question. Probably my favorite part of the book was the scene of Mia and her dad at the lake. You know, and they're getting all the pennies out that they've gotten from recycling all of the soda cans that were consumed at the motel, and they're looking through all of the lucky pennies, and Mia is sort of talking to her dad about America and like, did he think it was going to be like this? And he kind of tells her, no, I never thought it was going to be like this. And she asks her dad, do you think it was a mistake moving here? And he says to her this really wise line, which is, you know, sometimes a mistake is not a mistake. A mistake is an opportunity. You just can't see it right then and there. And he calls her his lucky penny, which I thought was just so sweet. It was the sweetest scene to write. I remember when I was writing it, just like crying, and it was such an emotional, beautiful scene of sort of the beauty of family and finding that joy even during tough times. So my favorite scene. Great question. Next question. How did you come up with the Yankees baseball cap? Great question. We actually used a blue baseball cap when we were working in the motels to signal to a lot of the immigrants who were coming by who knew my parents that it was okay to come in. You know, because if the owner was there, then it would be really awkward if my parents' friends came, and we would put a baseball cap to show that it was okay to come in. And the idea always stuck with me, and I think when I was Googling baseball caps, the Yankee one was obviously blue, so I used that one instead of a Dodgers cap. Actually, I think the Dodgers cap might actually also be blue. I could be wrong, but great question. Okay, what was the best way to deal with other kids teasing you in school? Oh my God, this is such an important and amazing question. There are so many ways you can deal with kids teasing you at school, but the best thing you can do is to say something in the moment to make sure that they understand it's not okay. And often, sometimes what I would say is I would often make a joke about it, which in hindsight is not necessarily the best way to deal with it, because then it's almost like you are participating in making fun of yourself, which is not cool. But when I was a kid, I used humor a lot, and I think that I still, to a certain degree, do. Although now what I do is I will say, hey, you know, I did not appreciate that, or like, that was, when you said that, it really made me feel this way. So I call people out on it now when it happens to me, which thankfully doesn't happen as often, but I remember as a kid, especially in a new school, being teased for the way I looked or what I wore. The fact that my parents never could afford good clothes for me, and I even remember when it was time for me to get glasses, and the only pair of glasses we can afford were these like big, huge, like plastic clear granny glasses. I mean, they really look like granny glasses, and I wouldn't wear them. So I chose to be blind rather than wear them in class because of how bad the teasing was, which was horrible because I like literally couldn't see. So I think that now what I know as an adult, knowing what I know, I would definitely speak up, and I would say to these kids, you know what, it's not cool. This is me. I'm proud of it. Deal with it if you can't handle it, but this is me. Stop it. Stop teasing me. I don't like it. The other thing that I think really helped was having a good group of friends. And sometimes a good group could literally just be one friend. I found that if you find one friend, it just makes such a difference, you know, because you can talk to that one friend and the experience of being teased becomes so much more bearable and smaller and diminished in power when you have a person you can talk to. So go and find that one friend. And a lot of times for me, that one friend was even just a book. Like, I was a new kid in so many schools that I didn't always have a friend, but I always had the library. And this is why I love libraries so much, is because those books were my friends. Those characters in the stories were my dear, dear friends. So another way I dealt with teasing, being bullied, was through writing, you know, because I found that people couldn't get to me if my mind was somewhere else, right? If my spirit and my whole psyche was in a story, you could not get to me because I was literally not even there. I was like thinking about a story. And sometimes I found that that was such a great way to have an outlet and to like have something that I was in control of. I wasn't in control of this world, but I was in control of another world through my writing. So finding that hobby, finding that one friend, even if it is a book, those make all the difference. You know, you can also find other sort of techniques like talking to the person, talking to the teacher, talking to another person about what happened. All these are wonderful techniques. And if you have to laugh it off, I mean, sometimes humor is a way for us to cope in the moment. And I'm not saying there's a universal way to deal with teasing for every single kid, because there just isn't. Some of us, we do want to move on and not be confrontational because that would add more anxiety to us, and that's fine if that works for you. I just think as an adult now, having gone through much of my childhood being teased and having sort of laughed a lot of it off, that in hindsight, I would have felt better if I maybe hadn't. And I had actually the courage and bravery to say, like Mia does, knock it off. And I think that's one of the things that's so brave about Mia, is that she does tell Jason consistently to knock it off. She like stands up to him, and I think that's just so bold and wonderful and amazing of her, and that's why I'm always rooting for her. I hope you guys are too, and that's why I think we all relate to her in our own way. Great question. Okay, we have time for one more question, and that question is, why did you decide to become a writer? Great question. I think I decided to become a writer for a lot of the same reasons that I just talked about, is being able to control that world. You know, writing is so fun. You can transport yourself. If you're sad, you can just like stop being sad in a moment because you can write about a different world where you're not sad. If you're mad, you can pour all those emotions into a story and feel like instantly better. And growing up without siblings, without a lot of friends, because we were constantly moving, writing sort of became my friend. You know, it was the one constant in my life. And being an author, I think it's just so wonderful because you can go and impact so many people's lives through these stories. You know, like I can be talking to you guys. I would never be able to talk to you otherwise. I wouldn't have the opportunity. But through Front Desk, I'm able to share with you guys my story. And I just think that brings us all together. It makes us more connected. It imparts so much more empathy in the world, which we really need. And it's a wonderful, amazing thing. And it's so fun. It is literally the most fun that I have. Part of my job now is there's the writing component, there's the dealing with the business side of publishing, there's all the promotion stuff, there's attending all the different events and book talks and festivals and things like that. And of all the different components of my writing, my favorite thing to do is still writing. So keep at it, you guys. You will find the joy and the power of finding your own voice and how important it is, and it's going to really make such a huge difference, and I really believe that it can change the world. Thank you guys so much for listening. I'm Kelly Yang, I'm the author of Front Desk, and I hope you guys keep sending me your questions. We're going to do one more video for Global Read Aloud next week, and then that's it, guys. Thanks so much for reading. Bye.